It has to be all or nothing. And again, people say like, yeah, all or nothing mindset. You don't know what that actually means until you do it.
It's not in our blood to quit. We just don't quit. We don't quit at anything we do. We never will, ever.
No.
It doesn't matter if you have a poopy diaper that day.
It doesn't.
Shut up and get it done.
Exactly.
Because that's not how business works.
No. Even if I wanted to let myself down because I feel bad for myself, which I don't, I'm not going to let you down because that makes me even more angry than letting myself down.
You can act like you're the man, get kicked in the teeth enough.
Yeah.
How long are you going to last in the fight?
Yeah.
All the money we had was just gone.
Yep. The trustee of the bankruptcy apparently was at that gym that we were just at in the parking lot, standing in front of our last truck saying, this truck cannot leave. This is stolen property. If we survive that, there's nothing that is going to happen that we're not going to get through.
This is episode 001. Is that how you would say that?
Yes. Or 01. I don't know, dude. We're not professionals.
I'm pretty professional at this. So yeah, I mean, we left off last time with
the cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger was
Arkansas
acquiring our equipment. I gotta prepare myself to talk about this story.
I was thinking about that when we were coming.
Obviously,
here.
we knew we were talking about it. But.
Yeah, but every time we've told the story a handful of times, and every time we do it, it's in some kind of business meeting, and we're like, it's a long story, so we'll give you the quick version. And then I realized today we're not telling the quick version.
No,
and so
we're telling the people what they want to hear.
We're unfortunately going to have to relive some of these really, I don't know, really traumatic because
I still have some PTSD.
Yeah.
I'm
so traumatized.
Stuff,
but
I'm gonna joke about it anyway, though.
But it was, I mean, for lack of a better word, it was a pretty traumatic event for us,
traumatic.
and it was especially in the moment. And so we're over it. We've moved on. The gym is great, but thinking about on the way here that we're gonna have to think through some of these things again and feel those moments again is kind of sucks, to be honest. But here we are.
We can let out our feelings.
Yeah,
it's 2025. We can all sit by the fire, kumbaya, and we have to get Mental Health Awareness Month. None of that's a joke. None of that's a joke. We
have an event for that.
We do have an event for that. I take it very serious. But
the Health is Wealth event is May 23rd.
Come on by.
Sorry, June.
No, I just think it's a little overplayed sometimes. Anyway, let's continue.
So I don't know. We don't really need an intro, I would say, in terms of what it is, and we can just kind of get into it. I don't really, I was looking at that little thing I wrote down about what it is and where.
Yeah, so everyone knows Mark made a list when we got home.
Yeah, we can get to the end of the story first.
So he has an itinerary for this talk which I don't even know what's on there, but
it's just all this stuff. So we were just talking about this, and again, this is the very end. But I remember when we finally got home, which we'll tell the whole story, obviously. We both probably just crashed immediately. So remember we were at BWI, and then we had to drive back to Columbia. Yeah, we didn't live in Frederick yet. We live separately, but I just remember
I was
passing
up in
out on the floor. You had already moved.
I dropped you off at your old apartment complex,
and I just passed out on my living room floor. And I woke up, and I was like, "What did just happen to us right now?" And then I was like, I was this delirious state, and I was just trying to remember all the details of what happened. So that's who knows when I start reading. I haven't read it ever since I wrote it all out.
Right.
So if I ever reference this throughout this and I start reading it, who knows what it says on there? I don't know.
All right, so let's dive in because we already said how the gym was established, where we were at, the bank funding was hard, blah 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 blah, all the hard stuff that pretty much everyone deals with when trying to open a business.
Of course,
especially if you don't have if you don't have capital up front, all that stuff, right? Yeah. So we're past that now. The gym's moving. The build out has started.
Yes. Because I remember, before we get into this, just quickly, I remember the whole year of getting the funding. We finally, it was Thanksgiving of 2023, and we drove to that final meeting. We signed all the SBA forms. We got our business loan. We finally went out. We grabbed a beer or something the first time. We're like, dude, we made it. We made it over this insurmountable hump. And
remember how sick I was?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I
felt like I was gonna die.
I still remember that moment. I actually felt happy, and I was like, we're never gonna have problems again.
Right.
We're this
was we finally
the hardest is behind
got over
us.
that. Yeah.
Little did we know that
it was literally that's how we left the last episode was. Yeah. And we were 10% there.
Yeah, so that was November of 2022, and then this story goes into the very beginning of 23, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so rewind back here to 2023. Bank funding was good to go. The build out was starting. And we're already in contact with the person. We're gonna leave this guy nameless. What? Honestly, he doesn't even deserve.
No, it actually doesn't matter.
We're gonna swear on this?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I'll try to filter myself. Everyone knows I'm a sailor. I have a really bad sailor mouth, so I don't want to let everyone hate me.
When I get angry, I might a little bit. But
I mean, this guy's a complete asshole, though, right? So, and to a lot of people, but
I don't want his name on our podcast.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave him. So that's why we're gonna leave him out, and we're gonna leave other players besides the Canadian boys because they were
they're the boys,
paramount to us getting our equipment out of there. Yep. They were actually there with us getting it out by hand, and we couldn't have done it without them.
Impossible.
So anyway, so 2023, beginning of the year, we started to feel like things were off a little bit. So we had this whole list, this itemized list. We needed the itemized list for the SBA, for the bank funding. We say, hey, here's our list of equipment. Yep. And we had it all laid out. I mean, it was very professional. We had multiple meetings with this individual. He was already very well established in the equipment world, especially through COVID.
You're right, yeah.
Because that's how I heard of his name, is through Instagram. And I'm like, man, like Hunter Labrada is buying a bunch of stuff from him. The Jansen boys were all buying stuff from him. Right, yeah. I mean, I think he outfitted Revive.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
so he got him a Paramount Pendulum.
Yeah, I know Justin Shire. Yeah. Ali.
Oh yeah,
in Texas. So there's a bunch of big players in the game that were like using this guy.
And he was legitimate.
For legitimate used equipment that he would, I guess, then refurbish at some point. Some of it he did, some of it he did. Actually did have a refurbished, whatever.
One of our pieces.
So we were like, okay, like this is legit. We have our itemized list. And then we had everything. We wanted to have everything rolling in. I think it was by March.
Yep, March.
Right? Because we were like, hey, March is like the deadline. We want everything rolling in because
we're supposed to open in June of 23.
Correct. So now, mind you, the build out was taking a lot longer, and you know what, like I won't go down that path because I'll be way too long, but like the build out, it got done and that was it, right?
Yep.
It got delayed, and part of that delay was because of the equipment and what we're about to explain here. But we started getting weird feelings, I think probably around I did anyway.
End of January, February.
Yep. I was like, this is weird.
Because remember,
the contact, as soon as the money was sent,
it all changed.
It was like this guy was hounding us and this is like me being a previous cop. I was like, God, I'm such a dumbass dude. Now that I'm like, how did I not see this, man? Yeah. Like, how did common sense not kick in here when like, hey man, do you have the money? Hey, you guys have the money. I mean, it was just like this. Like the guy was spiraling. Like you couldn't tell because I think he laid it out so well.
Yeah,
I think that we thought, okay, this guy's
manipulation.
This guy's a little chaotic. He's a little.
I just thought he was unorganized.
Yeah, kind of a cluster, right? So it's like, okay. And when we were like, we just got to give him the money and it's all squared away. We already had a list there. It's fine. But there were some pieces and odds and ends that were like, hey, we need like cardio equipment too. Yeah, I'll get that. Like, and
he said yes to.
There was a couple things that we are to blame in the sense of like, damn it, like first time business owners. I can tell you, we'll never make this mistake again ever. But we didn't dot our I's and cross our T's on a few things.
But I think that's because of the stress we had just gone through about getting the loan. We were so almost like overzealous.
Well, because we didn't even know we were going to get the loan.
No, and so we were just so jaded, like blinded by the fact that like we finally got our money. Let's just go all in, because unfortunately we're both like that. Yes. So we were just going all in, and it's like, like you said, as a former police officer, not realizing those things, and for me as a former auditor, not realizing like you shouldn't honestly, pay something.
Yeah, you're almost more articulate sometimes than I mean. You should have been a lawyer, for God's sakes. I mean, I have street smarts for sure. I'm not book smart, but. Usually can get a really good gut feeling on people like that. And I'm like, oh man, this guy played us hard, he did. Man. Master manipulator.
And part of me doesn't I think that, not that I'm giving him any credit, but I don't think he was 100% trying to play us. No. I think part of it was his paranoia, and part of it was he was trying to kind of scam people, but it was almost a scam out of necessity and not a scam because he was actively scamming people, which doesn't make it any fucking better at all. But
no, not at all.
Still, it's still.
Well, he wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He went to medical school, remember?
Oh my God,
I can't wait. And business school all at the same time.
Guess what else I did? I'm like, dude, don't tell me this stuff, right? Just give me my equipment. Anyway, so all right, so we're starting to get weird feelings around January, February.
We started to ask for pictures of stuff, and no pictures were coming.
And he's just like delaying it, right? So then we're like, it's coming into March.
Yeah, and we're scheduling Zoom meetings and stuff. Yeah. Remember, he kept having excuses. He's like, "Yeah, my dog has cancer. I can't make the meeting." Every excuse
literally crazy excuses. So, hey, man, I had some equipment coming to you guys. I just wanted to get something to you. Because I wanted to make sure. Remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to make sure.
Because the one piece we
I
have.
know you guys are like freaking out a little bit. Because I swear to God, I have it.
So he knew.
I had a box truck en route to you guys. This was on a video call.
You're right. The flat tire, right?
And Well, I didn't believe. Well, no, that was a text. I'm getting confused on something.
yeah,
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He said, I had some equipment. It was on your way. It was in a box truck. You're not going to believe this. The box truck flipped on its side of the road. My boys were out there on the road. I was like, did they survive? Wait, what, dude? Oh, fuck, shut up, dude. No, it didn't. And that's when he started with like, the dog ate my homework stuff, and it was like,
and that's when we started pressing.
Like,
though.
well,
we
that's
were
when we were
like,
like, oh no, this isn't good, dude. This guy's like full of shit. And then he was like giving off like drug addict vibes. Honestly, I was like, oh boy, this is really not good.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets fuzzy.
Well, we finally had that one meeting, and you really went in like cop mode and pressed him hard. And you're like, dude,
that was the video call.
That was the video. You're like, look, man.
I was like, listen,
what
dude,
happened?
Well, that's when. Excuse me for my swearing. If you're delicate to swearing, I said, stop fucking around.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna tell us what is going on right now, or shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yep.
I said, because this is ridiculous.
Man. I don't think he actually got
you're
scared.
You're literally full of shit.
Yeah.
The story's all wrong. They're all made up.
Nothing makes sense.
Cut it.
Yeah.
What happened? Where's our money? What did you do with our money? And where's our equipment?
Yep.
And he like started tearing up, and I'm like, oh god, this is bad. And then he told us basically what he took the money and he spent it. He said, he said, I think verbatim, your money's gone.
That's gone. And he's basically spent
it.
You
mean gone? That's not art. That's federal government.
That's
money
that you just spent, the SBA's money.
Which then we found out doesn't even matter.
It doesn't. But he basically admitted that he used our money to fulfill the deal before us, more or less, because he was in this like robbing Peter to pay Paul thing where he got in over his head. He said yes to every order that came in.
Correct.
He couldn't fill those orders, and he didn't have the equipment.
Right.
And that's why. And he was hoping another one would come after ours. Right. He would take that money to fulfill ours. So he was just buying himself time, and he never got out of that cycle.
Well, and that cycle he was in, that's where like these other 15, 20 guys, whatever it was, were all getting played too.
Yep.
Because he's like, I'm gonna lie to him, but the lie it'll be okay because no one will ever know.
He thought the lie would catch up,
backfilling the money, so to speak, kind of thing, and maybe it'll catch up, and then I'll be good.
And then his final saving grace was he was applying for this $1 million loan,
right?
And then that's when he really finally admitted that it was over because he applied for the loan, he got denied twice, and he was like, that's it. There's no more. There's no getting out of this. Yeah. And that's when all the Nick Trigili stuff started spiraling on Instagram, and word started getting out that this was happening.
Well, we finished that meeting with, I'm filing for bankruptcy.
Yes.
And we were like, well, how are we supposed to get our equipment? Yeah. Because we have a gym that's halfway built out.
Yep.
Concrete smashed. We owe a lot of money to the SBA. We owe a lot of money to everyone. Mm-hmm. We need the equipment that we're screwed. We're done. Yeah. We're done before we started.
Yep.
And that's when it started to just spiral. Then he wasn't getting back to us.
Then he started ignoring us.
He started ignoring us.
Then we get angry, obviously.
Then we got super angry. Yeah. But then at this point, Nick Trigili got a hold of it. And then,
is he still alive? Does he even do it?
Let's not even. I'm not going there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not. This podcast will not be a bash session on other people.
Exactly.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
He took it and was like, "Oh, great! This will make my page look good," and just blasted out to everyone. And then everyone's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" Obviously, everyone started finding out like, your equipment's gone too. So is mine. Yeah. Oh, he never paid me either. And then like some huge players in the game, in the bodybuilding world, people with a lot of money that he stole from. I mean, he just pissed a lot of bodybuilders off.
Yep, all at the same time. So I feel like
then we got a group. We got put together in like a group Instagram message, right?
Yeah, someone I don't even know who added us to that, but I guess they had heard that we were a part of it.
It was like an F this guy.
Yeah.
The name of
because people started swapping stories and even sharing equipment lists, and we're like, wait, that's our list. We had that on our, and they were like, he sent me this picture, and then we're like, we have the same picture. So then it was very obvious what had happened, and then people were just like, well, what are we gonna do about this? And this is crazy. I remember there were some people that were like going to his place in Arkansas trying to like break in, and you and I were like on the phone.
That was like 2 days before. There was a guy.
Yeah, it
doesn't matter either. Yeah, but he was like, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to break in that motherfucker."
Yeah, and we're like, "Okay, I'll tell you, we're not doing that."
That's called breaking and entering. So, I knew this guy stole our stuff, but let's not commit an act of.
You and I were smart enough to realize we're not doing that.
I'm not going in there to go to jail. I'm going in there to get our equipment that we already paid for.
And I remember actually, this was I started reading my journal, my diary. That morning. So we ended up going on a Thursday. Wednesday morning, we drove to Frederick to meet with Jerry at Heartland at our gym.
That's right.
And because we'd tell him everything because he's our landlord and he's a business mentor.
We also told the bank already. That's important.
You're right.
So we're trying to be.
No, we didn't tell them. We told them when we got back. They didn't know. We did not tell them until we got back because that's when that all went out of sideways.
Sure?
Yeah.
I thought I called Jess.
You might have told Jess, but we didn't like formally.
And she was like, "Let me see what I can do."
You told her like.
Meanwhile, I think she was like, "Oh, they're."
You told her like as a friend more. As
I was
like
in Gold's
the
Gym here
yeah.
in Frederick, and I was trying to get a lift in, and like felt like I was spiraling out of control.
Yeah. I was in Total Athlete, and I was like, I remember we got off the phone, and I hung up the phone. I just looked out the window like, my life is over.
Just paced nonstop.
So we went to tell Jerry that on the Wednesday before that weekend, and I remember even him like, I mean, Jerry's a very successful businessman.
Well,
and, like,
we went there like, Jerry,
like he was going to solve our problem. Yeah,
Jerry will tell us what to do. He's probably been here before.
Jerry's smart. Yeah, he could do this.
And again, apologize for my swearing, but this is fantastic. We sit down at this table, and I'm like, all right, Jerry, this is what happened. We actually, I mean, Jerry's a very successful man. He's worked very hard. He's very smart. He's been in a lot of business deals. He's dealt with a lot of people, dealt with a lot of snakes. Yeah. And we're not even like halfway through the story, remember?
Yeah.
He like, already figured out what happened. He just cut us off in true Jerry fashion, just cut us off and was like, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're done.
And I'm like,
that's not looking good.
I thought you might have had like this like weird roundabout way, like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And he's like, yeah, you're screwed. The only thing you can do is go there and get your equipment. Yeah. And then my father-in-law said the same thing, you know?
Yeah, but we're like, originally we were like, no, we can't. That's impossible.
Well, that's why I was like, yeah, what? Dude, we're going to we're going to fly to Arkansas, pick up our equipment. It sounded ridiculous, but yeah.
So that was a Wednesday. Then Wednesday night into Thursday, it all kind of started spiraling. That group on Instagram started blowing up.
When did we get down there?
Thursday.
So it was Wednesday night. Was at midnight is when we were on the phone at like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And you're like, hey man, the Canadian boys they're on their way there. The Den Fitness guys.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, that was when we went on a Thursday. So that was Wednesday night. I talked to Braden on Instagram. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I was like, he looks jacked. He owns a gym. Like, cool, let's talk to this guy. Yeah. And he was like he was fired up. He's like, they were already there actually.
After we met Braden, I was like,
it all made perfect.
This all makes sense. This guy's legit.
But they had actually he was like, yeah, bro, we just touched down. This was Wednesday night. We're in Arkansas. We're like,
hold on. But then they said, this is where this got me. You're like, yeah, dude, they're landing. I'm like, they're flying in. You're like, they're flying in out. They're gonna land. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah, Tyler's gonna pick them up. I'm sorry, I just said his name.
No, I keep it in, whatever. But that's how.
Okay, hold on a second.
This is where the story really gets ridiculous.
Like, shut up, dude.
So this man,
is bullshit.
These other guys outside of us, we had the largest amount of money stolen in value of equipment. The Den guys in Canada had the second most.
Most, yeah.
So these three guys that flew internationally from Canada to Arkansas, he had stolen their money, but then he's nice enough to go personally pick them up at the airport and escort them back to his townhouse. They slept there.
That's right.
I was like, what is going on?
I think he was just scared, man.
So he was trying to play the nice guy. Yeah. So that was at like 8, 9 p.m. He was like, yeah, we just landed here. This weird guy picked us up, but we're going to go there. We're going to scoot the place out at 6 a.m. He's like, I'll hit you up tomorrow morning. And then that's when I called you, and I was like on like AmericanAirlines.com. I'm like, dude, we're going to. I called you. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you have clients? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, we're going to Arkansas. And you were like, what? It's like, we have to go.
I was just skeptical. I was skeptical because I'm like, what if it's not there? Yeah. What if this is like literally made up to the point where like there is no warehouse?
The whole story is made up.
There's no equipment.
Because this guy's a pathological liar.
Yeah, because I mean, to be completely honest with you, I was at that point. And people will probably be surprised by this, but I was spiraling pretty bad at that point. I was already like, I mean, everyone knows like I'm like never give up, I'll fucking run through a brick wall. But I'm like,
who's carrying the boats?
When it comes, who's gonna carry the boats, dude? Yeah, no, shut up. But I'm like, oh man, like when it comes to financial stress, I don't know what it was about. That's the thing in business, like that kills me. I don't know, man. I was like, I was already like kind of writing it off.
But see, I
not totally
wasn't.
Not totally. I'm like, we're gonna fight. Yeah. We're gonna fight in some capacity. I didn't know what that looked like.
Of course, yeah.
I was already like, all right, how are we gonna get out of this now? Yeah. That's how I was looking at it. Not like we're just gonna sit there and lay there and be like, oh no, and cry about it. Yeah. I was just like, we're gonna have to find some other way to get out of this because we're screwed right now.
But for some reason, my head was like,
I know.
This guy is.
And usually it's a little.
I know.
It's backwards.
I know.
We were like, well, I'm going. I'm like, oh, okay.
Because knowing
I'm
that
going
they
too,
were
then.
already there. Well, that's why I said it. I remember you were
This
like
guy-
a
this
little.
guy
I was on the
acts
phone.
like he's going by himself.
I was like,
oh, okay, happy trails, bro.
Yeah, I was like, all right, dude. Well, I'm going tomorrow morning with or without you. Bye. And I hung up. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, you called me. You're like, dude, book my flight too.
Yeah,
I'm
book two, you
yeah,
idiot.
dude. I was like, I already did book two. I knew.
And then,
you were gonna come.
then my mind completely.
Then
went,
you're like,
"Meow."
let's go.
And I'm like, we're going.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife was like, "You're gonna fly to Arkansas." I was like, "Well, first off, Mark's going, so I'm automatically going."
Yeah. Yeah. Which
You know, and rightfully so. She was very upset. She's like, I think she knew at that point. This is not like our lives could definitely be changed forever.
Yeah.
Like all the money we had was just gone.
Yep. Because at that point it
So
was.
I'm like, yeah. So at that point it was like, I just looked at her. I said, grab my bag. You gotta take me to the airport. So we slept I packed all my stuff. I packed everything.
It was like midnight on Wednesday, and we had a 6 a.m.
Packed
flight.
my computer. Meanwhile, I'm still checking people in.
Yeah.
Just acting like everything's fine. I'm just like, yeah,
course.
okay, a good week here.
Well, that's the thing. I remember I had to text my employees at the store, and I was like, hey, I just need someone to cover the shifts for the next 2 days. You got to work. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I just got to take care of some stuff. Like, we both just pretended like life was completely normal.
Yeah, we had to.
Because you had to.
Well,
that
because
would have stressed us out more.
because other people get so like, oh my god, that we couldn't have that. We just need to stay focused. So like, once my mind switched and we were going to Arkansas, I'm like, all right, now we're going.
Yep.
And at that point, I'm like, then I was like completely polar opposite.
Of course.
I'm like,
You have to be.
well, now we're gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm in go
And
mode. We're gonna fly out. We're getting a rental car. We're getting there.
Yep.
If the equipment's there, we're getting all of it. Or
You realize that we
getting
didn't
what
even,
we-
even if we got
we
there,
paid for.
when we got there, and let's say that we said we found it, we didn't even go with a plan of if we did find it, what we were even going to do with it once we found it. We had literally zero plan. All we knew
we
was
tried to get our
we
hands
just
on
have
it.
to get boots on the ground and get
Yep.
there, and then
Yep.
we'll figure it out.
Yep.
And that's really the recipe for the entire gym since then. We just have to show up and figure it out.
And on the airplane, I was thinking, what if the equipment's not there?
But what if it is?
And I started to spiral that way,
Yeah.
and I won't go down that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, wait a minute, this guy like ruined.
Well, I'm
my
pretty
life.
sure if we
I
flew,
am unbelievably pissed. Right?
Well, that's
like
what I was
a
gonna say.
bad dark place.
if
pissed.
we
So I was
flew
like,
there and
this
it wasn't
is-
there,
yeah,
you and I would have been in jail in
No,
Little
yeah, we won't
Rock.
go that far. Yeah.
If it wasn't there, but it was there, so we didn't go to jail.
So everything was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we get there. We land. We get the rental car. I mean, we just aren't talking. We were just like straight,
it's just like when we're training, we didn't really talk to
looking
each
for
other.
rental cars. Like, what's the cheapest option?
Yeah.
What you pay for this, I'll pay for that. You
Exactly.
pay for that, and we're
Yep.
just
It was
spending
just-
our own,
yeah.
more of our own personal
More of
money,
our own
just
money,
blowing it
yeah,
out on
yeah.
everything. And we
This trip was wildly
called our
expensive.
lawyer
On the way there.
on the way there. I said
We finally got the car. You were like, let's call,
we called Jerry and we called our lawyer.
I remember his name.
I forget.
Steve, John. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Nick. Whatever.
And he said,
We were about 20 minutes out
Sean.
at that point. Sean, yes. Sorry, Sean.
sorry, Sean.
He's not.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Um,
He helped us.
He did help us. Sean's like, hey guys, what's up? You all right? And we're like, well, no. We're farther from all right, but we're in Arkansas, and he already knew part
Like
of the
the
story.
gist of it, yeah.
And he's like, oh my god. And we're like, yeah, dude, we're on a rental car in Arkansas right now, going to the gym. And he's like, okay, you don't have any weapons on you. And I was like, no, but we should.
we should.
We should definitely have weapons on us. I was like, yeah, no, we don't. He's like, all right, this is what you need to do. And he told us legally what we need to do to keep ourselves safe.
Yes.
And make sure
Thank God we
can
did
get what we had.
If it's there, yeah.
If it's there, yeah. And then
And mind you, we're in Arkansas. We have no idea where we're going, what we're doing, whatever. I'm just blindly driving, and Blake's just either calling people, texting people the entire time we're getting there. I remember we pull up. We're finally like, okay, I think we're close. I never forget this. We start to pull up to. We see. All right, it's at this warehouse, and it's in the back of. It's think of like a Walmart in the back of a big parking lot. We get there, we pull up. Now we're entering.
Shitty town at that,
And yeah, terrible. But we see a bunch of equipment outside. So just naturally, I see it. I start to speed up just because I'm like, there he is. As I'm speeding up, Blake is in like full cop mode, literally taking off his seatbelt and opening the door as I'm still driving to get out of the car. And then we're met with what? It was the guy and like 2 or 3 other guys, and then the Canada guys were there too. But it was like we were rolling up basically to 7 dudes, big guys, who we had no idea who any of them were, and we're like, well, let's just see what happens.
yo, I didn't give a shit.
No, it didn't matter.
I was like, here we go.
I know you were getting
Something
out of the
bad
car
happens,
as I
we're
was
gonna rock and
driving.
roll.
Yeah, I know.
You better aim straight, fucking punch hard, dude,
Yeah.
because I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
So, and it was like, then it was like weird because
He greeted us like we were
was
long
like,
lost
"What's going
friends.
on,
Yeah.
brother?"
What are you guys doing here? I don't know,
Hey,
dude. I'll
Bubba.
fucking tell you. Yeah, I'll
I was
tell
like,
you.
What? So
Crazy.
then we played it. At that point, I was like, okay, mentally switch gears again.
Exactly.
And now let's just be cordial. Let's be somewhat friendly in the sense of like,
go
let's
with
just
like,
get what
let's
we
just
need
get
to
our
get done.
shit.
Once we
because
realized
we saw it was there.
the threat level, which
it was there, but not there.
I mean, there's. I'll put it to you this way: there's dudes with handguns there,
yeah,
so that was a little.
And they made sure that we knew that they had them for sure,
and we saw them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is weird. And people were like flying up, and one of the guys was like, one of his dudes was like, yeah, man, people have been like flying up real fast all day. And I'm like, yeah, no shit,
I wonder
dude.
why.
You stole
dude.
everybody's equipment, you idiot. Like, I wonder why. Like, oh man. So we see this warehouse and it's huge. There's all this equipment outside, a lot.
I mean, even if I were to show people pictures, the pictures don't do it justice. This is literally the size of a Walmart.
If you can envision a like super sized Walmart.
Yep.
Literally
full
to the
brim.
Ceiling. Literally things stacked on top of each other.
Butt to butt.
Semi new. Nothing was brand new, I don't think, right? It was all like
there was a few. Remember, like our Strive adductor was still wrapped in plastic. Some of it was like a very few. Some of it was brand
I don't
new.
think that was new.
He just wrapped
it was being shipped to someone else.
And he never got shipped. Okay. Well, whatever.
Which was on our list, so
it should have gone to us.
Should have gone to us. So,
but I mean, this warehouse was. I was almost in awe at how much stuff was in there, and then there was almost just as much stuff outside, which is weird that it was outside.
Well, it was like raining.
It was. Yeah. It was around the corner. It was everywhere.
Meanwhile, there's a gym connected to this warehouse.
Yeah, he owned the gym.
He owned the gym. The gym was immaculate.
It was.
It was unbelievable.
Because he had all the best pieces from all his
Atlantis 8-stack. He had like, I mean, it was beautiful. He had some of the best pieces I've ever seen in it.
Absolutely.
And people were just walking in the gym, just lifting weights.
As
music's
if
on, nothing's happening. Like everything's fine.
Yeah. So I remember we were in there. He stepped away for a second, thank God. And then us and the Den boys, and it was the 5 of us, and we're like, all right, guys, what are we doing? How are we solving this problem? And I mean, they were just as quick as us. I mean, I think Dylan was like, I'm going to get on the phone. We're going to find a Zoom boom. We're going to find a forklift. You guys got to, let's rent some trucks.
Well, it was like, this is like higher power. Like God's got to be good in these moments because they literally were just us.
Yes.
But 3 more dudes.
Exactly.
Like they were like, hey man, we're going to move.
They were in the same mindset.
You tag yours.
Exactly.
You guys split up here. Like you and Braden, I think, split up and did like some of the truck stuff.
Like logistic stuff. Because I was like, Blake, start looking for equipment. Because I know that you know way more about equipment than me. So I'm like, I don't know what's good and what's not good.
And I knew like that list in my mind. I don't need like an actual printout list.
No.
I literally remember.
You made the list.
I made the list.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right,
go look for our stuff.
We need this T-bar row. We need this machine row. We need this bench. We need, this, and that. And then obviously once I started looking around, I already realized like there's a lot of shit on this list that we're not going to get.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll have to figure that out another way somehow.
Yeah.
Which we did, but so we got the majority. I mean, we didn't even get close to what we paid for.
No.
But we just basically started going around and tagging, and then the Den boys were like, "Hey man, like we had that on our list too." So we're like,
we're negotiating.
So we just like negotiated, like, "Here, you guys take this one, and we'll just eat the cost and take this one," or And
but it worked out. I mean, it was very fair.
It was very fair.
Yeah.
And we all worked together really well, and then the only reason we got all that equipment out. Now, it's kind of hard to explain like what it was like in that warehouse for
3 days, 2.5 days. It was 90 hours total, start to finish. And we slept for 6 of those 90 hours.
So the warehouse was big, and like the equipment, the warehouse was like, it was almost a little daunting because I'm like, man, how are we gonna move? How are we gonna hand like?
That's the thing. It wasn't all lined up perfectly. It was like a junkyard.
We were pulling like 500-600 pound pieces like over. Like other pieces, like slamming our shins. Like at one point, I thought I might have tore my bicep because I'm like, damn, my shoulder was already gone.
You're right.
My shoulder at this point, I was supposed to get surgery.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't get surgery now.
Yeah.
I am just gonna let it. And I think that's probably where it tore more. So I probably did tear more because I did get my bicep.
He should have to pay for your surgery.
He should. Yeah. I remember we lifted something up, and it was like a, and I'm like, dude, like come on. And we're all getting mad, like slamming our heads against stuff, like picking shit up and like throwing it across the warehouse.
Because it was just the most like infuriating, depressing, angering, every emotion humanly possible all at the same time.
And we were exhausted. Like we're running on complete adrenaline. And then you got the truck set up.
Yeah, so we ended up getting 4 technically.
Did we
got
sleep
2
that night?
2 hours, I think I just read in there. Yeah, you and I booked some like Best Western or some shitty fucking something.
And Braden's wife like somehow ordered us like Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
or something. And it was like 1:32. No, it was like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we were eating like these buffalo bites or something. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, I have check-ins to do.
Yeah. No, I remember, dude, we were just talking about this the other
So
day.
I got out my laptop and I started doing my work. And you're like, what are you doing right now, dude? And I was like, I got check-ins. I got to check people in.
It was, I remember that first day, obviously, it was like 20 hours. We both got there. I was like, hey, you're like, I'll take a shower. You're going to like do some shit, whatever. I was in the shower. I'm just like on the wall. Like,
so good, man.
I was like, what is going on? I remember I get out of the shower. I just turn around the corner and you're just sitting there taking a bite of this shitty like chicken wrap, doing check-ins. I'm like, what is going on with our lives right now? This is at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is terrible. And then we're like, well, we have to wake back up. We're like, we're going to wake back up at 5 and go back there and keep working. Yeah. So we slept like, what, 3 hours, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It was just enough to like keep
like,
you going.
Kind of recharge a little bit.
Recharge
and,
a little bit.
It's not that I really want to go down this path in length, but like you said, physically, your shoulder and bicep are messed up. That was probably one of the hardest times of my entire life because I probably shouldn't say this because I haven't even told my family, but I found out I had my autoimmune disease at that time. Mm-hmm. And my level of fatigue, you and my sister are the only two people I told because in case something happened to me, but that was the height. That was before I had like the medicine for it and whatever. So my thyroid was out of control.
Just we'll speed it up a little bit here. So like we got the trucks, and I'm tying this in that part. We got the trucks. We're loading the trucks up. Dylan got the Zoom Boom from wherever, and he's like riding down the road. Yeah. Zoom. I'm like, this is
a giant orange thing. Yeah.
And luckily, he worked one before. So
he knew. Like, he was hurt.
And I'm like, this is awesome. So we're like, we lined up all our equipment, and we had it all tagged.
We had like an assembly line.
It was an assembly line, and we just took one at a time. Boom, boom. We just hours of just hand loading on the Zoom Boom and then throwing in the trailer, and it was like an assembly line system, and it worked. I mean, we got everything. Yeah, it went really well. But at one point, it was probably, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And this dude's wife, was it his wife? I don't know.
Girlfriend, whatever.
Was like, hey, I got y'all food. Like, why? Just get away from me, man. Like donuts and cookies. And I'm like, wow, I might as well eat some of these cookies. And I remember being in the trailer, and this is right before someone pulled into the parking lot.
That pickup truck.
And fast.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kicked in for me. And I was like, that's not good. I saw him flying from the corner of the parking lot off the road. And I'm like, dude, what's this guy doing? This is like, he's rolling in here hot. So I like pushed you to the side, and I'm like, get back. Because I'm like, I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he thinks we're the dude, and he's going to light us up. And I mean, we're just on edge the whole time because like you feel like you're doing something wrong, even though you just got all your shit stolen. So I don't know. And then nothing happened. He just sat there, and then he left. It was weird.
It was
I don't know
very
what that
odd.
was. But anyway, right after that, we're standing at the truck, and like it's dark, whatever, and it was just you and me, and I looked at you, and your face looked gray. And I was like, and I asked you, I said, are you all right? And I think you said no.
I was the first time I ever
said, honestly,
admitted.
dude, no, I'm not all right. And I'm like,
yeah.
What do you want to do? And you're like, we finished the fucking job.
You gotta keep going, man.
All right, let's finish the job. So,
yeah,
that's what we did.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could go into all the details of that, all those days, but like it's all the same thing. We showed up at 5 a.m. We left at 11 midnight, whatever. Moving equipment all day long. I feel like we kind of, we're eating beef jerky from that random gas station. All the stupid things that just happened throughout the day. But we got to the point where all 4 of the 53-foot trailers were loaded. They had their stuff. We had our stuff. Their guys left. Their trucks left, and then it was just I think they even left. They went back to the airport, I think, before us or something. It was just our 2 trucks and you and me left in the parking lot. The one left. And then it was the last one there. He was like, I'm going to stay here tonight.
But then we got in the plane.
No. So that one, our first truck left to head to Frederick. The second guy was like, hey, my hours for the day are done. I got to sleep here tonight in the truck. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to drive to Frederick. So we're like, cool. Is it cool that we go back to our hotel and we're going to catch our flight tomorrow morning? And he said yes. So that's what we did. So we went back, and that's when, so it was you and me, I was driving, and you were in the front, and the 3 Canada guys were in the back. And we were driving to Little Rock, Arkansas on the way to the airport. And I was just like, we were like, okay, we made it, we're good. I was kind of pissed. Like, not that it's their fault, I get it, but like we're all in this together. We were 4 minutes into the drive. The 3 of them in the back were just completely passed out, which again, I can't blame that at all. I was going to say, we stayed at that other shitty hotel with that guy, you and Braden. I didn't want to get into that.
Bro, that guy, I was at wit's end, man. And he's like, I don't even remember what he did to piss me off, but I literally was like,
I saw your face and Braden's face. You were probably
I remember
the
at
two
one point I
people
grabbed the desk. I'm like, dude, give me a fucking room now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is, like, he was just being like playing hardball, something stupid. Oh, he made us stand outside. He's like, you have to stand outside while the other guy comes. I'm like, what?
Was that because of like COVID? I think
I don't know, dude. I was just
actually
Braden stepped in and like took care of the rest because I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind because he was like, sir, you need to calm down. I'm like.
That whole night, that was the end of that night. I don't want to go backwards, but now we have to because this part's actually funny. When that night we were all trying to leave and we were trying to find a hotel, and it was like the Frog Fest of, it was like some weird thing where every hotel in Arkansas,
every single hotel,
everyone was booked.
Oh, sorry, we're booked.
Everyone was booked. I finally called one and I was like, "Hi, do you have? We just at least one room, 2 room,
and
anything."
you remember what happened?
Yeah, I definitely remember.
Yeah.
It's like she said, "We have 2 rooms left."
2
I said,
rooms.
Thank
we finally
God.
found some rooms.
I said, I'll take it. I'll take it right now. And she said, okay, how many your party? And I said 4 because Tyler had already left. She was like,
here, I'll finish it.
Okay.
She says, how many in your party, sir? And Mark goes, 4. And she goes, okay, would you like 2 in one room or 2? And what did you say?
She said, do you want 2 in one room and 2 in the other?
And Mark turned his face to this facetious mode, and I was like, oh, he's going to say something asinine. And what did you say?
I said, no, 4 in one and 0 in the other. Well, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard.
You just said, no, 4 in one and 0 in the other.
That's all I said.
And I hear, click.
I
was like, dude, you stupid.
And everyone, I could see everyone was so let down. They're like, dude, you just blew it.
Oh, yeah.
So then that's why we left. We're like, fine, we won't get a hotel in Conway, Arkansas.
After we ate McDonald's on the curb.
Dude, I still have that picture. That was the best McDonald's I've ever had in my entire life.
I don't even like McDonald's.
I don't either, but the bite of that, we were sitting on the curb.
Order me whatever.
We were so defeated, and everyone just bit into that McDonald's.
That was an American victory.
That was. It was the best. I don't even know what it was. Double quarter pounder. It doesn't matter what it was. But we left Conway because of all that we couldn't get a hotel. So that's why we drove to
the Frog Fest.
We drove to the airport to Little Rock to be at a hotel closer to there. That's when that guy made you stay outside.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was on the way there.
Correct.
When Jesus took the wheel because
I looked at Mark. So so we're driving and they're passed out. The Canadian boys in their back, they're passed out. And I was like, I'm doing like the head nod.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude. And we have like another 15 minutes left. And I look at Mark and I go, hey, you good? And you're like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, are you sure, dude? Because I'm nodding out. And you're like, yeah, I got it. I nod out. I come to. This is probably like a 5 to 10 second thing. It felt like an hour.
Yeah.
I like went like this and did one of these again. Look over. Mark's like this at the wheel on a highway. Going 75 miles an hour, 80 miles, and he's like this. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh, what? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And you're like, God, I don't know. And then we were in silence.
Yeah, and then I drove like this.
How long were we driving?
Who knows, dude? Thank God.
Jesus.
I could have killed all of us.
I looked over, and there was Jesus just driving.
Oh, man.
So then we flew back. And
we made it to the airport. We thought everything was good.
Should we tell us part?
Well, I'll tell part of it, not the ending part of it. So we had a connecting flight from Arkansas to Atlanta and then Atlanta to BWI. So we got on the flight the next morning. We flew to Atlanta. We landed in Atlanta. And I remember I was in the back of the plane, so they all got off first. And
I'm like 2 boxes. If anyone knows me, by the way, I have like major IBS like all the time. And like
especially when
flying makes it worse. And then stress and no sleep and eating nothing and 55 energy drinks. And I went through like 50 tins of chew, and I'm like, I crushed like 2 boxes of Pepto, and I just like
I was Imodium.
Was both. I just overdosed on both.
Great. That's
so I was just
really
like taking Pepto tabs and like chewing them all up. I was like, I gotta clog it up, dude, because I don't want to like shit myself on the plane, you know. So I just remember getting off the plane and being like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of Pepto, dude. I just want a sandwich.
That's all regular food.
And you came off the plane ghost white, and I'm like, that's not good. What could possibly be wrong now?
I turned my plane.
Like every goddamn turn we make, I'm like, something else is wrong. What? I'm looking at you, and I know that face. I'm like, what's wrong?
I had turned my phone off airplane mode when we landed. I had about 10 missed calls and 20 text messages. It was the owner of the tractor trailer company, and he was like, hey, man, we have a problem. The last truck can't leave. So I called him right away. And then I was like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. So again, as Blake said in the beginning of this, the guy with our equipment filed for bankruptcy with his company. Just so happens that the bankruptcy went into effect that morning that we were flying back to Maryland. So the trustee of the bankruptcy, which is the guy that is taking over all the assets now that this guy, he owns the bankruptcy. The trustee of the bankruptcy apparently was at that gym that we were just at in the parking lot, standing in front of our last truck saying, this truck cannot leave. This is stolen property. This is my property. This is bankruptcy, all this stuff.
Which is not true.
Which is not true at all. It's ours. And we had documentation to prove all that because our lawyer told us to do that.
Correct.
So
it was already signed off that we had our stuff.
Of course. We did nothing wrong.
This guy was pissed because he obviously was already getting screwed over by this guy as well.
He was getting screwed too.
He was getting screwed too.
Everyone was getting screwed.
We were all screwed, yeah.
Yes. So luckily I had the driver's number because he was cool with us, and he's like, if you ever need anything, text me. So I started calling him. I was like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, this guy, he was freaking out. He was like, you guys lied to me. You set me up. He thought we had like set him up to like do this illegal drive for us, and he was in on it.
Well,
because
it's such a
it sounded so
such a complex
odd.
situation,
and
you can't even follow it.
I feel like I was just begging. I was like, look, man, I promise you we're telling the truth. Please get in your truck and just drive. He's like, this guy is standing in front of my truck. I said, honestly, you can run him over. I don't care. Just get in the truck and drive. And we were going back and forth and back and forth. And then he was like, okay, I got to go. And he hung up on me. And then that's when I had got off the plane, or we talked about it. And then luckily, we were freaking out. We were like, what are we going to do? We won't talk about what we're going to do. And then
Braden's like, we got to go back.
We got to go back.
And I'm like, he was dead serious.
We can't go back. We're going to rent a car and drive back. I'm going to drive from Atlanta to Arkansas,
this is
dude.
Like the nightmare.
This is stupid.
Ends, right?
When we're like, okay, well, I guess we lost. We're going to get half of our equipment. And it was about 5 minutes. We were standing in line to board the next plane. And that guy texted me 5 minutes before we got on the plane. He said, I'm en route. I'll see you in Maryland. I'm like, oh, again, God just showed up at the last possible second. And I'm driving. And I was like, wow, it happened again. So finally, both trucks are coming to Maryland. We are on a plane coming back to Maryland. We get out of this shitstorm that is this terrible nightmare of our lives. And then we landed in BWI, and then we went home, and I guess the next day we had to figure out, like, okay, now what do we do? Well, because we still weren't even in the clear.
No. So it was 2-3 days later. Also, we notified the SBA because we're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, we called the bank and the SBA.
We notified the bank that, hey, this is what happened, because we figured, okay, they'd want to know.
Of course. It's a pretty monumental, significant thing, yeah.
Well, that was the worst thing ever, because once we told them.
Don't be honest, because it really screws you over. That's what we learned, honestly.
Every time we're honest, we just get screwed, which we're always honest, so then maybe that's why we got screwed so much. But, so anyway, the SBA calls. I was at Apple Ford getting my truck worked on. I'm sitting on a curb. And I thought, okay, cool. The SBA is going to come.
This is a good thing.
Help us out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, man, we feel bad for you guys.
Like disaster relief funds or something.
We'll get some of your money back. You can get some of your other equipment that you're missing. They actually called to shut down our loan.
Yes.
So the loan that they just gave us that we already had over half the build out worked on, a lot of stuff paid for, or whatever, the whole, half of the process going, they're like, we're taking the loan back. And we still owed. We were guarantors on the loan.
Blake and I are personal guarantors on the loan.
So we just so I sat there. First off, I wanted to throw up everywhere because I'm like,
I almost just did right now again hearing that.
I just remember I was staring at like a Wegmans sign. I vividly remember. I'm like, you're telling me that we just got our equipment stolen, then got it back, then flew it or drove it back here in tractor trailers. And now the bank's taking our loan.
Yes.
So at the end of that conversation with whoever, it was a guy from M&T, I said, hold on, does this make any difference? We just flew to Arkansas, and we literally just picked up our equipment and loaded it into 2 53-foot trailers and drove it back to Maryland. It's in our gym right now. Not all of our equipment's there, but the majority of it is there that what we paid for. And, it's not kind of a hodgepodge, but it's
there. Yeah.
And he was like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Because it obviously sounds
sounds ridiculous.
Making it up.
It sounds like a lie.
So they ended up sending our bank rep down, and he came down with this clipboard, and we had all the equipment behind a tarp.
The tarp, yeah.
And he pulls the tarp back, and he's like, holy shit.
Oh, shit.
It's all here.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, dude, we told you we're not lying. We flew down there and got it. He was like, wow, yeah, this is going to change some things. So they ended up, it all worked out in the sense of the SBA. They didn't turn the loan off. We had,
Now, in that interim time, we had to go to this, I think it was like lone shutdown group, and they were talking about, which I don't really want to relive that, but like basically what it comes down to is through both of these two events that happened back to back. We've said this before on our Instagram posts and whatever. Like our business quite literally failed twice before we ever even opened the doors of the gym.
It failed. Yeah, it failed.
We
with all the
significantly failed
stolen.
twice. Any of those things could have happened singularly to anyone else's business, and they would have failed because of one or the other.
Correct.
Both of them happened within a week of each other.
Yeah.
But we're still here. Somehow. I don't really know. It just...
Well, I'll tell you how.
Well, I know how, but it's just... We just said no matter all these things, we're just going to keep going.
We already put ourselves on the line.
We did.
You know when people are like,
there's nothing left to lose.
Oh, man, I put everything into this.
No, you didn't.
How much did you put into this?
That's why you and I laugh when we hear people say that now.
Because I'm like, dude, like there was nothing else to like. Our lives were literally ruined because all of our personal money and everything, like we put everything we had because we believed in this concept.
We did. That's
and
how
we
much
worked our asses off for it. So we're like, it can't fail if we just keep working and not quitting.
And we had to, like you said, personally guarantee it. We're not two like rich kids that got given all this stuff. All of our everything, our retirements, personal savings, everything.
I come from a lot of money.
We got some. No, everything was. We're all in. Quite literally, like the other day we were talking in the store. It's like we just put everything on black and we had to bet it all. And we're like, this is it, man. Take it or leave it. It's either going to work out epically or it's going to fail miserably. But there's no in between. It has to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
And again, people say like, yeah, all or nothing mindset, but you don't know it. You don't know what that actually means until you do it. And I'm not saying we're some hard asses because we didn't want to do it. We were forced to do it. But now we do know what it means.
But I think we live in this world like where it's like the whole like. That's why I'm so big, and so are you. I try to really drive this home with clients and drive this home on like anytime I can. If you're going to talk the talk, then you better be able to walk the walk.
Show up.
Because there's a lot of people in 2025 that do a lot of this, and they don't do anything about it.
But they make it look like they are on social media.
It's like this perceived value bullshit. It's like I think a lot of people are just completely full of shit.
They are. Because they make themselves feel better because they put some stupid reel on Instagram. No one gives a shit.
Wow.
How do you sleep at night knowing that it's not even
living
real?
a second life through Instagram?
Of course.
I mean, everything you see in the gym, the community we've built, the gym from the goddamn ground up, is our literal own blood, sweat, and tears.
It quite is.
Mostly
tears. Okay.
Mostly tears. There's a river of tears. Rocking myself to sleep at night. Yeah, that's the other thing. Everyone, I mean, that's where that whole like mental health comes in.
It does because
we just had mental health awareness,
and we joked about it in the beginning.
At it. I'm not. It's not. It's a real thing. You know,
it is.
And you can wear that hard shell, and you can wear the Superman cape all you want, and your ego can. You know, I've always tried to not be an ego guy. We all have egos,
of course.
Right? Like it's human nature to have an ego, but like how you maintain that ego and who you are as a person and morals and values and all that good stuff. You know, it's you can act like you're the man. Get kicked in the teeth enough, and see how long are you going to last in the fight? You know, and that's where like personally for you and I, we do thrive in that environment where there's things we're good at, there's things we're bad at, there's things we're in between, but in a lot of odd ways, our childhoods weren't bad. We both had good childhoods, and we've both been through things where
events,
hard events, hard learning lessons in life that. We're used to getting kicked in the teeth a little bit.
It doesn't feel that odd.
Didn't feel that bad. It's like when you get into like someone that gets punched in the face for the first time. You can tell they got punched in the face for the first time. If you got rocked,
it rattles.
If you got rocked in the face and you've gotten a couple fights, you
just brush it off. Keep going.
So.
But it's. I think that you and I don't want to speak for you, but I think during all of these events, we both realized that because we're similar in the sense that. A lot of people in our personal lives look to us to be the strong person, the glue to keep us together.
Especially now.
But even before
outside our family,
of course, you're right. Well, now like clients and gym members and whatever,
they just never have a bad day.
Yeah,
They're just
and you'll always figure it out. But we again, especially being in this mental health awareness month and men's month and all this stuff, like every man and woman, everyone has a breaking point. Every person doesn't matter who you are or what you are, you have a breaking point. And we both multiple times reached ours or realized ours. And if I wasn't able to, and not to bring this down the corny path, but it's not corny. If I wasn't able to have a friend and a brother in you that I could actually come to and be like, dude, right now I'm legitimately not okay.
Well,
I can't.
Where this whole like synergistic vibe of like people ask like, man, like you guys really work well together, but it's like we don't have to talk about it. There were times, man, where I wasn't going to admit to you because I knew I wasn't going to quit.
Yeah, and neither was. Yeah,
and that's not in us. It's not in our blood to quit. We just don't quit. We don't quit at anything we do. We never will ever.
No.
But there were times where I was like, if I could put it in like a vision, it'd be literally me laying on the floor in a fetal position, rocking back and forth.
Yeah, like what is going?
I don't know, like I'm an abandoned baby in the middle of the street in the rain.
Exactly.
I was like, oh man, like I don't know, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
And it seemed to be no path.
Calm down, catch myself, and be like, all right, well, I got Mark.
Yeah.
And as long as we have each other, we're gonna be. And you would always, in this odd way, no matter what it was, kind of pick up the speed or pick up the pace or pick up whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd be like, all right, we're all right. And then I'm sure there were times the same thing with you. You're like,
it happens many times.
I feel like we're not going to be able to get through this. So then maybe I'm doing something to make you
are. I think that we have this innate ability to do that. And in a weird way, we've talked about this before. It's like it almost becomes like a competition, a healthy competition.
Competition.
If I'm if I'm for the past 2 days like firing away emails and doing things, whatever, in your head you're like, well, now I want to do more.
The past 3 days you've been firing away emails.
I don't know why. I think I'm just in this like manic depression. Like I'm this manic mode of like
clean the toilets or like mop the floor or something because I feel like I'm inadequate.
But it is this like constant uplifting thing of support system of, you know, if. When one of us is in this like lower point because it's just feeling super hard, that's the beauty of a partnership that actually is successful. That's the point. It can be 50-50, it could be 90-10, and it doesn't matter. But when it's 90-10 and I'm here and you're there, I'm never like, well, fuck Blake, he's not doing his part, because I know there's going to be times where it's the complete other way around, and I expect and hope that it's going to be reciprocated, and it always is.
Yes. But it also, the main thing, the driver of all of that, what brings it home is that because we're brothers first and business partners second, they both matter a ton.
They do.
And you have to be able to compartmentalize and break those two apart. But I respect you as a brother and as a person. So I know those feelings you get with like someone else where you're like, man, I feel like they're not holding their freaking weight, man. Like,
what's going
pissed.
on? Yeah.
I do that with a lot of people.
I do that with most people in my
because
life.
we put our standard and our bar up to the ceiling, and so everyone's pretty much below it, and that sounds very arrogant. But
it does, but that's
just the way we live our life. And everyone's like, man, you guys are always like, you're so successful, and we're like, no, we're not.
We're not. We just
we didn't even reach like 50% of it.
We're not even close to done.
Like, yeah, I'm very proud that we have a gym, proud of all the stuff, but like, I'm like, we're not even there, dude. We're not even close. Like. Like, thanks, I guess. Like, oh, you did it. I'm like, we didn't do it. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot to do yet. We got a lot of work to put in. But anyway, because I respect you as that person, I don't have those feelings. Like, I don't ever have.
No, I don't have the feelings.
Because guess what? If there was something you were supposed to do, or probably vice versa, I'm like, okay, he probably needs a breather right now. So go to sleep.
And then and also
go to sleep, and it'll all be here in the morning.
Exactly.
Like, we're good.
It's not going anywhere. And then also because we have mutual respect for one another, if there's something that I know I was supposed to do or you're supposed to do, because we've both done this many times, and we didn't do it, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't do it. I just come to you and be like, hey, man, I was late on this. I messed up. I'm sorry. And you're like, dude, don't apologize. I'm like, I just had to let you know. And
another thing that's failed in 2025.
And then we just move on. Yeah.
Just be transparent. But that's when the business partner thing comes in.
Exactly.
I'm like, hey, dude, did you do this? And you're like, no, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Actually
I'm like, it's all good, man. Just get it done. You're like, hey, did you email that person? I'm like, oh,
no,
shit,
I forgot.
I did not.
Because I'm doing 900 other things. And I have 14.
Guess what? We both are like, well, we don't really care how much each other are doing. It just needs to get done. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you have a poopy diiper that day.
It doesn't.
Shut up and get it done.
Exactly.
Because that's not how business works.
No.
Well, I don't feel good today. My feelings got hurt. Whatever. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Get it done.
Especially when there's someone else that depends on you. We're partners in this business.
It's dependability.
And so even if I wanted to let myself down because I feel bad for myself, which I don't, I'm not going to let you down because that makes me even more angry than letting myself down. Yeah. So we're just not going to do that.
No. That's it. So that kind of wraps up our story of, I think we kind of nailed everything there.
Yeah, we did, which wasn't as
traumatic. And it added a little men's mental health and
look at that. It's June
and
after
some business
all.
partnership.
So, exactly. It's a good transition into our next episode.
And we probably missed a million things and whatever.
We did.
It's probably a bunch of questions, but that's the first time I think we've delved into the whole thing and really
start to finish the whole story of just what it was and what it. In a weird way, it sounds odd to say what it meant to us, and I mean that positively because it did mean a lot to us because the gym would not be what it is today, quite literally, if that didn't happen. So again, in this weird way, that God makes everything work out, or however you view life, of what higher power there is, it's your personal opinion. But it wouldn't have gone this way. The things we wouldn't have had half the stuff that we had, even the relationships that we didn't even talk about, like Ali calling you and stuff like that, and like Justin reaching out and all those things. But it's like the relationships that we built and the things that we have in the gym and the trust that we built.
Yeah, there was a lot of good people.
We met a lot of good people along the way that we wouldn't have met, and it only made. We were already great. We were solid. We were best friends. I think that was really what accelerated us into this other category of well beyond just being my best friend, and it made our business partnership and our friendship and life and brotherhood and all that stuff like basically unbreakable at that point. Because I know that now, without a shadow of a doubt, if we lived through those 90 hours of complete and utter chaos and bullshit, and you worked just as hard as me,
we didn't even open the business yet.
Exactly. If we survive that, there's nothing that is going to happen that we're not going to get through, and that's a really good feeling.
Yep.